Peace and greetings, everybody. Nice to be here as usual. Killah Priest Podcast, the best podcast, the most open, the most fair podcast on the internet. Peace, my brother Priest.
Peace.
Greetings.
Peace.
How are you?
Peace.
I saw glimpses of it because
you should have been here.
yeah, that's what I was getting text messages as it was going on. My phone kept going off, and I was checking it, and there's
was
people
so
from
crazy.
here texting me from the chat.
Yeah.
As the show's going on, they say, "Are you coming? Are you going to be here?" And I was like, "What's going on?" So I click on. I see I saw a little bit of what's going on, and so yeah, it got very chaotic. There was like 5 people on the panel, and he started calm for a few minutes. Rasul was actually calm. I was gonna congratulate. I was going to tell Rasul, you were actually calm in the beginning.
Yeah.
And the person on the screen was actually getting hype. So.
Yeah.
And you were very respectful, calm, and try to control the crowd. There should be no reason why. So you officially have your first slander video.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Welcome to the internet.
I thought Shaheem would have been one.
Yeah. So you have your first slander internet.
Yeah.
Yes, it's so
out the shot.
For several years, people have been coming to me with little clips of some of the things that he's been saying. There's been a new shift in consciousness where when we first started, it was more pro-black, pro-Africa, and then as we got into the internet world, and the Moors started getting. The Moors and the Native Americans started getting on the internet, started saying things like, "We're not African." Everything started in America. America was first. And I kept hearing these teachings, and I was wondering who's the source of it. And I kept seeing brothers on videos, and I was like, I know there's a source that's going to look like a Puerto Rican guy. I know it's going to be some kind of Mexican-looking guy. There's going to be some kind of source behind it that's going to not look like a brother, because who introduced this to the conscious community? So and the clips the clips I saw, that voice, his voice,
right,
is the voice of the source that I saw years ago, because people were sending me videos, but when he does videos, you don't see him, you just hear his voice,
right?
And so I put 2 and 2 together, and he's actually the guy that I've wanted to confront for a while.
Oh.
Yeah, he's
shots.
Yeah, people have agendas, and they want to get big off of what black people are doing, and I have no problem with Native Americans, with Aztecs. I promote whatever it is that they're doing. I promote that they get back to their culture, their ways, and understand. What I don't like is when they start saying things about Kemet, and they start saying things like the Native Americans went to Kemet, and they start doing what's called reverse reasoning. That means when you already have a presupposition of a belief, and then you search for things to match that belief, and then you work your way backwards just to make it right, as opposed to coming to a situation unbiasedly and just looking for the facts. So, but we're going to go over some things, because what he's doing is actually, it's mentally dangerous for young. Is that the cat? Oh. Mentally dangerous for young black youth and young youths in general, just hearing knowledge that's straightforward lies. A lot of people were warning me. I'm a part of. I'm an administrator for different groups on the internet, different pro-black groups, and different history groups and debate groups.
Right.
And so when I put the post up, a lot of people were saying, "Don't sleep on." What's his name? Nobody can say his name. Kurimeo.
Yeah, Kurimeo. Yeah.
Kurimeo, and don't sleep on him. And but he's like a baby, and he just needs to be corrected, because he's telling blatant lies. And I'm just gonna. I saw a couple clips. It's kind of short notice. I didn't get much time to prepare much, but I did see a couple of things. I'm going to address them.
Okay.
So, and Min Kepra, I saw he pressed your button when he started. Min Kepra was a little calm until the word Marcus Garvey came. As soon as Marcus Garvey came up,
Yeah.
I saw your sword. Your sword was definitely had blood on it.
Yeah. It was deep.
Yeah, your sword was definitely ready.
Yeah, somebody said, man, I don't know. I heard Nat Turner didn't exist. All
that
types
was
of
so many
Santana,
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Santana said that Nat Turner didn't exist. And,
yeah.
shout out to Khalif Khalifa in Virginia, who actually does a Nat Turner tour of all the places that Nat Turner did his rebellion in. So I'm like, what are you talking about? There's people out there, you know what I'm saying, that actually got roots and ties to these people, man, and just act like that history. Yeah, that act like this history didn't take place.
Okay, where's the StreamYard?
You're all set here. Let me know when you're ready.
I wouldn't be surprised if they said Martin Luther King didn't exist.
Yeah, that's coming next, Lord. Give about 50 more years. You say Martin Luther King who had blonde hair and blue eyes.
Actually, that's what's happening. Actually,
Yeah,
if you look at old pictures of Martin Luther King, as time goes on, his pictures are getting lighter.
Wow.
What?
They're getting lighter. Yeah, that's what's happening. They're making them lighter.
Wow.
Wow.
Trying to slowly erase people out of existence.
Yeah.
And I have no problem with controversial statements that shake the crowd. Just
Right.
when you say something, you just have to be ready to stand on it with facts that existed before you were born. You know, I don't want to hear facts that came after you were born, things that you make up as you're existing and you're logically trying to figure things out. If you're going to talk about history, all the past history existed before us, so that's all the archaeological finds, all the language and everything can be found. Whether you die or not, I should be able to find it.
Right.
I shouldn't only be able to find it on your YouTube channel.
Right. It was a gunshot right there. I'm late with it, but hey, shot. Yeah.
So the brother did video about you.
Yes, the whole panel. He put up. Did we have that? Should we pull out AD? I think I got it in my phone.
Yeah, go to his.
I just want to show the pictures. Well, he put a wolf. He took all our heads off and put like animal heads on it. So he put a wolf on mine, and he put it like a caveman
on me, yeah,
on Mech, and he put like a cave head on Rasul, and he put I don't know, like a rabbit head. I don't know. It was a whole bunch of. He just kind of, and it was like here,
right there. There it go. Right
Oh,
there. You see it?
Where's it at?
it already has 14,000 views.
Yeah.
So there's 14,000 views of you looking like Worf.
He got me
Yeah.
looking like
What's that
old
about?
Al
man?
Sharpton.
No. Oh, you're the one that look like.
No, that's like Martin. You remember Martin episode when he got beat up? With
Yeah.
the big head? You can't. Who's that looking next to you? Yo, he tripping, man.
Okay.
Yo, bring it back down.
That's why his name is Kulo.
It's on.
Oh, and then you spoke to him again after that?
Yes, and it was
How
bad.
did that go?
It was bad. It wasn't even. It didn't last 5 minutes.
When you spoke to him, did you already know this video was done?
Yep. It wasn't even 5 minutes. We didn't even get that part because it was just too crazy. Yeah. We got off the phone.
Okay, great. Okay. Oh, 80, you're in? Yes, you're in.
Like that. They gonna put me as a wolf and no alpha wolf or wolf X in there.
Yeah, he's mad disrespectful. You know, where I come from, there's penalties for stuff like that. You know, for real. Mad penalties for stuff like that.
Penalty sound like a game.
Yeah.
What's the penalty? What's kind of penalty would
Like,
somebody could be? What if he had a shirt? What if he made that shirt and walk through the neighborhood?
Oh yeah.
How would the shirt look by the time he got to the end of the neighborhood? Wouldn't look too good.
You remember that old Bean commercial, like get a rope, like put the one right in the back of the Cadillac, take him on a desert trip. You know what I'm saying?
He goes in the whip.
Yeah, he going in the whip. He's definitely going in the back of the whip.
He's a hit song.
Yeah, he going in the back of the whip, and
the front at the same time. So
and on a desert trip.
Okay. All right, everybody. So what I'm going to do is I looked I looked over some of the video, and the main okay, the main issue. There's several, but the main issue was the young man was taking the word Tamaray, and he was saying that was America. And a lot of people don't know that what people are calling ancient Egypt, one of its original names was Tamaray, the land of the flood, or the land of love, or the land of desire. And he literally took that word and did reverse reasoning and turned it into Tam Ere Ika, took off the T, Amr Ika, and then Tamaray became America. These kind of things are dangerous teachings to the minds of people who don't, young people, or just people that don't know much. It sounds good. It's a definite definition of logical fallacy. A logical fallacy is something that sounds logical, it makes sense, but it's still a fallacy, even though it does make sense. A young lady told me a couple days ago, they told her not to use the word blessed because blessed means be less. And when you look it up, it just doesn't mean that. These are logical fallacies. So I'm going to go ahead and start with what I think of what I saw and some of the things that are on his video. He actually made a challenge. In the middle of all that screaming, I found the part where he said challenge. He started yelling challenge, and there was so many people talking that it was hard to hear what he was challenging on. But I listened close and I heard what he wanted the challenge to be. So I'm going to
accept that challenge.
Accept that challenge. He said it's a 1 minute challenge. So okay. So I'm going to go ahead and screen share, and tell me if you see it on that side, AD. Tell me how the sound looks. Okay. Sorry. And also, before I start, I just want everybody to say peace to Nakas. This is my...
See, I knew you were going to bring some more animals and shit.
That my energy.
Dangerous.
It's a red...
Fix the mic before you...
Yeah, red touch black. It kills Jack. So
well, I'm glad so. My name ain't Jack. My name is not Jack.
But it's okay. I drained his poison gland, so he should be okay. There may be drops left though.
I keep playing around, Tom. Keep playing around.
Does he go in the whip?
Yeah, in the back of
the whip. In the locker.
To the desert. Yeah, he's going in the whip.
Okay.
Put him that way, Lord. That side. That nigga look wild.
Yeah, his name is Nakash. I broke him down one of the last podcasts I was here. All right, Nakash. Say peace to everybody. Peace, greetings. How you doing, Nakash? Great. Okay. All right, so let's get started. When do you guys want to hold him while I do the show? No? Okay. With a straight face.
I'm like, nah, they good.
They're good? Okay.
Oh, hell no.
Okay. That's AD. I don't have the headphones on. I can still hear something strange. Okay, so let's get into it. All right, Nakash, I'm actually going to put you down for just a minute. Over here, and then so I can have free hands for just a minute, Nakash, and we'll put you back in. Mahito, stay back. Okay. All right, Nakash, you go sit down for just a little minute, okay? Go right here. All right, you go right in there. He'll just go by himself. Okay, awesome. Oh, he's coming back out?
Oh, he needs some milk.
What? What is that? What is that? What are these random statements?
He needs some milk.
What? Random statements. Okay, let's get started. That fun part is over. Okay, so here's what I saw, and here's I'm gonna play this. It's screen sharing, right? Mm-hmm. And hopefully this will play. Well, let me. Okay, so this is him on the screen. This is him talking to Menkepra. And I noticed as I watched the show, in the middle of it, he put a challenge out. He said, just debunk 1 minute of what I say, because I noticed that as he was talking, he wouldn't present anything. He just kept saying, "Go watch my videos." You notice that?
That's all he kept saying.
And then when Killah Priest said, "How long is the video?" He's like, 2 to 5 hours.
Yeah.
So who's gonna watch 2 to 5 hours in the middle of somebody else's show?
Facts.
So here's what he. Here's what he said. Here, I'll play this.
That's fine, man. The information is up. I get all my work is up. You haven't debunked 1 minute. 6 million strong. Debunk 1 minute. Debunk 1 minute.
Now it's a rebirth to say that no, we weren't Africans. We was already over here.
Challenge.
You know what I'm saying? And being that we was already over here, like I said at the beginning, there's an agenda behind
one of my
why
videos, man.
All right, let's move on.
Killah Priest, trying to calm it down. Also, and Killah Priest, respect to KP through the whole show. KP did not get disrespectful. He actually kept saying, "Let's stop. Let's reset. Let's calm it down."
Yeah.
He even told Rasul, "We're not going to do it today. We're not going." He even said for you to calm down. And the guy still was a little aggressive even after the show. He's making videos. So if anybody, for those who didn't hear that, he said clearly, go to my videos, debunk 1 minute, challenge, debunk 1 minute. He could say, find something wrong in the videos. He would not present what was in the videos, but he said, go back to the videos and find something. So here is here's his YouTube channel right here. And here's one of his videos right at the top. It's actually a video called The True Origin of the Name America. So here he's attempting to give the origin of the name America. And then it says, Tamaray, Egypt is America. Tamaricans. Okay, so he said debunk one video, just 1 minute. So I took a minute. And here is, I'm going to play this. This is the beginning of his the video here.
Alright, so now we're in this website. It's from the Museum of Agropolis. It's a French, museum of agriculture, Agropolis. And it says here, Egypt was called by its people Tamaray. Again, Egypt was called by its people Tamaray, not by Greeks, Romans, or white Europeans, or other, people that are not from that region or from this culture, civilization. Again, the people who are actually from this culture and civilization, they called it Tamaray, meaning the beloved land, which is cultivated by the Homo, whatever that means. There were other descriptive names of Egypt, such as Ta'ank, meaning the land of blood and fertile soil, Kemet, fertile soil, black soil. You know we have black and fertile soil here in America, very abundantly.
Okay, so I like that face. So, he goes on, but just that's about a minute. That was a minute and 19 seconds. Mm-hmm. And he said, challenge, debunk 1 minute.
Right.
So, you notice here that he says something about the whole, and I'm going to start with this. Right here. He says,
culture, civilization. Again, the people who are actually from this culture and civilization, they called it Tamaray, meaning the beloved land, which is cultivated by the Homo, whatever that means.
Okay.
There were other descriptions.
Okay. See?
We'll get back into this.
Yeah, come on, man.
It's about to be on.
Okay, so he starts off. So I saw that part of the video, and I say here, Kurimeo displays his ignorance of culture mixed with high school immaturity by snickering at not even knowing what a cultivating hoe is, which ironically is a farming tool that is the base of his whole claim. Not knowing what this tool is the exact premise of his ignorance. So he starts off immature, and this immaturity actually overrid the base of his argument. So he started laughing and saying, a cultivating hoe, haha, whatever that is, right? Because in 2000, in this day and time, a hoe is used for a promiscuous woman.
Right.
Right? But here's a hoe on lows, and this is a hoe, which is actually the cultivating tool. And this here is the cultivating tool that it was talking about. When we go back to over here, this is plate 34 of the Per Emharu. The Per Emharu, which is the oldest known spiritual book on the planet of the afterlife, or how to have an out-of-body experience, or how to be immortal. The oldest book is called the Per Emharu. Whites call it the Book of the Dead. This dates back to 1250 BCE, back to what's called the Papyri of Ani. So here, when I expand the Papyri of Ani, you'll see right here, I'm going to move my mouse over. This is the cultivating hoe. This right here. This is what's placed behind a cow. Farmers place it, and it digs into the ground, and it causes lines in the ground so that the next machine can come and plant seeds. Right? This is the cultivating hoe. This is the thing that he's laughing at. The fact that he laughed at this, it blinded him to what Mary even meant. So here is, these are ancient cultivating hoes, right here. And you can find these in the museum.
Ancient cultivating hoes.
Ancient cultivating hoes.
Ancient hoes.
Yes, the oldest of the hoes. So you can find these in the
area code.
before there's a area code. You can find these in the Livorno Museum. And like I told people before, it's the symbol of the plow. It's a symbol of fertility, male fertility. And it's a symbol of the farmer. The farmer was the first man known in ancient times to be able to take care of his family and the whole civilization, because he was the one that provided the fruits, vegetables, and he was the one that controlled the animals to provide the livestock in the form of food and clothing for the whole community. And people always ask me, why do I have my beard shaped like this, and why do men wear the goatee on the side of their face? And if you walk up to the average brother and ask him why does he shape his beard in that shape, he doesn't know. It actually comes from this word. This word is actually Marie. This is the word that he's laughing at. This is the word that when you see the pharaohs and you see them have the false beard, they call it, when you go to the barber and you ask them for this hairstyle in the beard, you ask for a chin strap. Right? A chin strap insinuates that it was something that's placed on. It was an actual strap to form the shape of the cultivating hoe. So the ancient pharaohs would wear this chin strap with the beard, because the long beard coming down like this and the sides coming down like this imitated the shape of the word Mary, which is what farmers used to prove that they were a man, so that they could support their family and so they could support the whole community. It was called a Mary, the plow. You would plow into the earth. This is where the concept came from, that the woman was earth, and you plant your seed, because the plow was digging what was called a dike. And now today a dike is a woman who likes women, but in ancient times a dike was actually the role that this machine made to plant the seeds in. It was pulled by the bull. Right. So today they just took the same fertility symbols and biological imperative symbols, and they took those two words together. The bull that was pulling this to make the dike, and now that became a word that represented women that only like women. They take the man out, and that becomes now the bull dike.
Wow.
So this is the thing that made the dike, and this is the cultivating hoe that he was actually laughing at, that he has no idea that this is actually what formed the word Mary. And now we see on the screen, Kurimeo Ahua tries to tie Tamaray with America. The mirror in the word for Kemet and Tamaray, because actually two words, ta, which means land, and Mary, which means attraction or water, is the Kemetic tool used for farming the Itaru, which is the Nile. This is the tool what was cultivated by which is why this article says it was the cultivating hoe. If Kurimeo Ahu knew anything about Kemet and the importance of this tool and his tie to the word Tamaray, he would never have made this foolish claim. Here we are now on page 308 of the Ancient Egyptian Dictionary, and you can actually see the word that I'm going to expand on the screen, and it's the word mer. This is the word that created the word. This is the word that's inside the word Mary that created the word Tamaray, and as you can see, the word mer. I'm going to move my mouse over the over what I have here squared in red, and this is the Mari. That's the cultivating hoe. And the actual word Mari was tied into water. Why? Because the farmer was waiting. There was three seasons that was in Kemet, and the farmer used these 3 seasons to provide for the land. And the 3 seasons were kicked off by the Nile flood when they had what's called the vernal heliacal equinox rising, which was when the Sirius star or Sopti, which would rise with the 3 stars of Orion and the sun at the same time. And as soon as they hit the Orion, it would start to flood, and the lands would flood. And that's how the farmers knew that it was time to provide or prepare for the harvest, or wait for the flood to travel the silt and the fertility throughout Kemet so that they could eventually farm and harvest later. So that's the word for the plow was actually associated with water, and it was called the Mari. And so when the European saw this, he took the word Mari, which is actually Aset's name or Isis's name, because out of the woman comes the water down the middle of her legs, and that's where the baby comes out. So the woman was associated with water, so they took this word Marie and they turned it to other words in English which meant water, right? Such as Marino del Rey.
Wow.
Marino del Rey are maritime, right? Are marina. Right, marina. All of these words come from this word Marie, which is water. You can literally look at the Medu and see the cultivating hoe and the water, and see that it dealt with the ejaculating penis, because right beside the water is a penis erect and ejaculating. That was a fertility symbol, because it was a cultivating hoe that represented the penis that went into the earth, that dug out.
Go ahead. Somehow
it always goes back. This is what it is. It's sex and magic. I mean, this is what the
right.
This all the cultures are based on sex.
Right.
So the cultivating hoe would dig out. It would symbolize the ejaculating penis, and that's why when you see the word mer, it was a collection of water. The canal. Right?
Right.
So the canal, and so they took this word mer, and this is where they created the word Mary from. So Mary now becomes the mother of Jesus. And when you look in the Hebrew word for water, it's the word yam. Yam actually came from the ancient Sugagi word, or what the whites call the Sumerians. Yam was a word for water. And they took the word Mary and put it in front of yam, and that became the word Miriam. And so when you look at Miriam in Hebrew, it means bitter water, or a type of water that comes out of a woman's vagina that is not as it's a little bit more bitter than than regular water. It's associated with salt water. Is that true, Mink? I don't know, but I don't know. But it's bitter.
Why you throw me in that?
I don't know. You started this. I don't know. You're part of the class. Yeah. But so it's called. It's salt water.
Well, if you ask me for my humble opinion, I would have to say that. No. I'm just
okay. So that became the salt water, and that became the symbol of Miriam, and then Miriam became Jesus' mother, the virgin who had her water broke, which is associated with the plow, which is associated with the harvest season, which became associated with the Virgo star constellation. When they created astrology, they started naming it after the Virgo, and actually put the symbol as the letter M with the Vesica Pisces there. Huh? Oh, yeah. Right, he likes it. Yeah, so that became the Virgo, and then Virgo became the Virgin, and Mary becomes a virgin in the story. And they started creating these stories from these ancient words. Here is the symbol in the Louvre Museum. That's the Marie symbol right there, right. And here is the word mer.
I thought you wanted. No.
Here's the word mer. Now, when you look at mer, mer is the canal. Of course, it's the water canal because that's the woman's vagina. The woman's vagina is the water canal. It's also the Nile flood water, and Mer is the goddess of inundation. The goddess of inundation. Mer-ti. When you add the letter T to a word, it makes it feminine, and T also dualizes, so it's Mer-ti, and that becomes now 2 goddesses because it represented Asar's 2 wives or two mates. I don't like the word wives, but his 2 goddesses, and that was Aset and Nebtet. Right? And that's when you blow this up, you'll see that it's 2 goddesses, and I'm going to wave my mouse over there, and there's 2 goddesses. This does not correlate to anything happening in Native America. There is no Native American story of 2 goddesses that was married to one man that represented resurrecting him and represented the flood. He has to parallel, if the word Marie from Tamaray became Tamarika, then he has to parallel the stories, which he can't. So here is the Here is some more of the Meri symbols, or the gardening, the farmer's tool, and so that is that. And now we go to the Per Amharu on plate 34. I put the date here this time because I want everybody to see that if you make a claim, this is why a lot of religious people don't like to debate me, because I talk a lot about dates. And once you talk about dates, then you can trace things back to the origins. Once you trace things back to the origin, then you realize that you, religious person, weren't even there. You weren't there, Jehovah's Witness, in 1250 BC. Seventh-day Adventist, Pentecostal, Muslim. You weren't there in 1250 BC. There was nobody in 1250 BC calling themselves any of these terms. So here is the Purim Haru, which dates back to 1250 BC. We cannot find this glyph forming any word of significance in the Americas. That means that if Tamaray came from Meri, right, then we should be able to find a Native American sentence or a word which has the word Meri in it, which means what this means, to show that the word Meri actually came from the Native American word Meri. And which language are we going to go to? I'm waiting still, but if this farming tool is what was formed the word Tamari, which the word Ta, land, and Meri, which is water, as the Nile flood, then we should find these words meaning this in ancient American writings. And where is it? Where can we find this word Meri in any ancient Native American sentence which represented waters and the flooding of the Mississippi River, which he said the Mississippi River is the Nile. Okay, so here we're going to look closer now. Now here we are on page 103 of the Book of the Dead, or the Per Amharu, which actually mentions the goddess Merit. You see? Merit or Merti are the goddesses, or the goddess of inundation or the flood. I'm showing you inside of the writing, the actual writing that the native Kemetians, Nile Valley people, wrote themselves, where they wrote about the goddess Merit or Merti. This brother Kurimeo has to be able to come and pull out ancient Native American writings which predate 1250 BC, which has this word in it. It's all about dates, because he said that this came from America. We started in America first and then went to this area, and the real Nile was in Mississippi. Here's the word Merti. I'm going to blow it up. There's Merti, which is represented by the serpent. And when you look at the word Merti again, you see the cultivating hoe right there. This is a word. This is a Mari R. That's a T, and the two eyes called the Awajit, which was a symbol of healing, because it went back to Heru's eye being damaged and taken out by Set, and then the goddess Aset was able to heal his eye, so the eye became the symbol of healing in Kemet, called Awajit, and the word Awajit means green because she used herbs to do it. So over here we see. This goes back to the 3 seasons. See, the thing about Kemet is that when people try to steal Kemetic culture, right, and they try to insert it in their culture, like the Hebrews and some other people do, they don't have the full story with the word. They just have the word. But you see, if you have the word Meri, you have to have the goddess that goes with it, the season that goes with it, the story. It's a whole story that culminates together to make this make sense. So these are the 3 seasons in Tamaray, which culturally coincide with Aset and Nebtet, the wives of Asar, of the north and south of Kemet, because see, Kemet had 2 regions separated by the cataracts. There was a cataract given, which was the place where Asar was found, and when Asar was found there, the Nitiru separated Kemet into 2 regions. One was called the Rez, and one was called the Met. The white man calls it Upper and Lower Kemet, or Upper and Lower Egypt. There really wasn't any upper or lower. It was just the north and the south. So the goddesses of the flood of the north and the south were Merti, and we can see the farmer's tool in her name. There was no goddess of a flood in the Americas named Merti or Merit for the word America to derive from, as Kurimeo has falsely stated that we were in America first, then brought the culture to Africa. If that were the case, we should be able to find the goddesses Merti of the 3 seasons written about in ancient American writing predating 2400 BCE. 2400 BCE now is the oldest spiritual writings in the world on a stone, and these are called the pyramid texts of Saqqara, which go back 2400 BC. So we need to find a Native American culture with writing on it that goes back prior to 2400 BC that talks about these goddesses of the inundation and the flood called Merid. I need to see, which I probably won't see because I'll probably be on the next video with, maybe I'll have a snake head.
Yeah.
But,
Sharp, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll be on the next video. But he needs to show this Mari that in America they acknowledged that there was a word called Mari to develop the word America before we established Merit in Kemet, whose name is in the pyramid text 2400 BC.
Hey, listen, I just want to let you keep going. Man, he's going to be here. So if y'all going crazy in the chat room. So y'all can ask him any question y'all want. Just make sure you hit that super chat. End of the day, he's here. So if I see y'all in the building. All right. So he right here just going through it right now. It's on. Good.
So I can't even believe that he would say some garbage stuff like that out of his mouth, man. And just like knock it off.
His disciples are in the building,
and that's
so
good.
It's like,
that's
right
good.
here. Yeah, exactly.
That's good, and let them come, and I'm open to speak with all of them calmly and peacefully.
Yeah,
and have a conversation with all of them, as long as they bring historical documented facts. So
priests have Tehuti debate Kurimeo. That's what this was set off.
Kurimeo.
Culo.
If Kurimeo would like to have a formal debate or a conversation, sure. That's what I.
This would be on. Go get him.
That's fine. As we can see, Kurimeo Ahu, you cannot take the letter T and keep the America. So I'm going to play the rest of a little section of the rest of the video where he actually says, take the word off, take the letter T off, take the A off now, put the M in here.
Yeah.
So you cannot take you cannot take off the letter T and keep the Ameri part on the Ta, because Ta is an actual word. So the word Ta is an actual word meaning land. Ameri is not a word. So he wanted to take the Ta. He said, look, take the Ta off Meri. Just take the letter T off Meri. And what are you left with? He says, Ameri. But you can't take the T off Tamari because the T is a part of its own word. The word is Ta, which means land. So you can't take the T off of land because then it's just, it doesn't make any sense. There is no word Amari. It's Mary and Ta. So Amari is not a word. What you're doing is called reverse reasoning, Kurimeo, and starting with your belief, then reasoning backward. The word Ta is land and Mary is water. Here we are on page 815 of the Egyptian dictionary, and we see the word Ta right here. Land, earth, soil, dust, Ta. And then we go over here, back to 308, the bottom of 815, and we see, there it is. See Tamaray, and the U makes it plural. That little dot on top of the A makes the A sound an E. So it's Ta is one word, and Mari is another word, and U makes the thing plural, like neter and then neteru. Neteru. So Tamaru, and as you look, you can see the word Ta in there. There's the word Ta right there. There is Mari. And it says the Nile flood, i.e. the Egyptians, not the Americans. It's i.e. the Egyptians. These words are found in MEDU. These are not found in any Native American stories. And to top it off, if you look closely in the word Tamaray, you'll see that there's you see the reed right here, and then you see this thing sprouting out. And then you see two lands. You see, you can't, this is all a part of the story. Right? This is all part of the two lands is a part of the story of Upper and Lower Kemet being separated because of the fight that Set and Heru went through. There was a separation of Upper and Lower Kemet starting at the cataracts and going up and down that made it the two lands. So sometimes the king would wear a crown of an upper, and then they were kind of lower, and then there was the crown with both of them, and that was the crown who ruled all of the land. It's two lands. That doesn't exist in America. Does America have two lands?
No.
So you have to say the whole story with it in cultural context. The two lands, and that little symbol right there, that is found on CXX X11 of the dictionary under trees and plant symbols. And under trees and plant symbols, it's the word flourish because it represents springtime when things are springing up. As we can clearly see in the word Tamaray, we have the plant sign 3:13:14, which is flourishing and deals with seasons, and renewal pertaining to the Nile flood again. Can we find this word in the Americas in the same context, predating the MEDU? Since we came from America with this word Marie, we came from here, then we should be able to find this word here. Now here we are in the Papyrus of Ani, Chester Beatty, 5th volume, held in the British Museum, 1250 BCE, called the Specimens of the Axioms of Ani. And when I blow it up here, you see that same word that's in the word Tamaray, tree, right here, and it means seasons. The renewal of seasons. See, perform the festival of the nectar or of God, to renew the seasons, because you have to renew the seasons. These three seasons here: Aket, Pert, and Shamu. Aket was the inundation when the Nile flood would start. That was from June to September. Peret was October to February. That was the growing season. And then you had Shamu, which was the birth season or the harvesting season when you collected the work that you put in. That represented springtime, and that was March, April, because April is really the real New Year, which is the beginning when things spring up. Nobody would have a new year begin in January. That was celebration of the death god Janus, the god of the gates of death and life in Rome. Had nothing to do with us. Our real new year was in March, and that was the Shamu, which represented the birth, the harvesting, when you now collected. You planted the seed, you waited for the time, just like a baby. You had sex with the woman, you plant the seed, and then the baby comes out, and now you harvest, you reap what you sow. The baby comes out. That same thing takes place when you are a farmer. So that's the goddess Marit, was also called Marit Shamu. Marit Shamu. Here it is right here. I'm going to blow it up. You see, you have to make it has to all make sense in the cultural story. They need to show us the Marit Shamu. They need to show us all of this in the Americas that it was written about. Here's Marit Shamu, goddess of the inundation. In the south, two goddesses of the inundation. Marit Shamu, that line on the top turns the letter A into a U sound. So there's Marit Shamu. Why? Because Marit Shamu represents the birth goddess. That's the birth goddess, the harvesting, and that's why the last set of months in Kemet is called Shemu. It's literally called that, named after the goddess. The months are named after the goddess because it's all a part of a Kemetic story. We need to find this goddess in the word America. Where does this derive from? As Kurimeo has falsely stated, that we were in the Americas first and then brought the culture. If that was true, we should be able to find the goddesses, those goddesses here in these words here, writing predating 2400 BC, because this is when the writings, they come from the pyramid text, which is 2400 BC. So we'll go back to his video again, and you can see, I'll show the logical fallacies again, and then that will be it for that, because as he said, his challenge was only for 1 minute of his video. So I just literally took 1 minute. So here we go.
Here we go.
Open with.
The name of Agropolis is a friend of Agropolis. It's also a name of Earth. The word
here we go.
It says MANLITTD, Cambridge, Massachusetts. All right, and it says sometimes scholar of Christ College, Cambridge. All right, and it says he was the keeper of the Egyptian and Assyrian antiquities, British Museum. So very important guy, scholar. This is volume 2. We're going to go into volume 1 and 2. All right, this is around 1920. All right. All right, so we're on page 815 in this book in volume 2, and we find here the word Tamarau. Tamarau, Tamari, Tamarau. What does it say? People of the land. of the Nile flood. We're talking about the Mississippi, Colorado River, Grand Canyon. What we're talking about here? That's the real facts. All right, so Dr. Hyde, when you're thinking about Nile River today, so Tamaray, the people of the land of the Nile flood. Example, the Egyptians, like Tamaray is an Egyptian of the Nile flood of the Mississippi. Tamaray. All right, now look at this. Remove the T, right, and remove the A in the bottom. What are you left with? You're left with Amaru, Tupac Amaru, the plum serpent. Remember, Tamaru, Amera.
He reaching, he really reaching, Lord.
Nile and Northeast. Africa doesn't have.
Okay, so Tamaru, take off the T. Amaru, Ika, Amaru.
Yeah.
And you can keep dancing.
Keep dancing on the word. Next thing you know, it's gonna be America.
Right, exactly. You can keep playing with the word, but the interesting thing is that the. Let me stop this. Stop share. I'm not sharing, am I? Or am I?
I mean, you're sharing, but we're not showing yet.
Okay. So he's taking a word and he's like, take off the T, Amaru. And what happened to the T? You can't take off the T because if you take off the T, then you no longer have the word land. It's land. Ta is land. Mary is one other word. So you can't take off the T and leave the A because there really is no A there. It's a symbol, which is, he's going to like this, it's a flat land, which means earth.
It's making up shit.
And then there's dots underneath, and it's a flat land, and it's earth. And then that's the word ta. It makes the sound ta. There is no actual letter A in English, so you can't take off the letter T. It's just a symbol that says ta, and the other symbol says Marie. It's Tamaray, two symbols put together. So, Kurimeo, you can't take off the letter T and then say we have Amaru, Amari, Amari. And then where'd the Ika come from, right?
Man.
Now the Ika, you have to make up the Ika. So Inca.
Yeah.
Inca, America. And then you start making up, and then now you have America. But the ancient people didn't. The ancient people didn't do all that. They didn't even need to. They didn't need to do all that.
Man.
The ancient people didn't do all that. America has its culture, right? Much respect to America, South America, where they brown-skinned people, of course. Peru, Colombia, the Native Americans, all of them. But the Native Americans were not trying to make themselves saying that they were the ancient Kemetians. We should not do that to a culture. Don't butcher a culture. That culture is its culture, and Kemet is its culture. If there was a case where the two cultures came together and one influenced each other, then let's research the facts of who influenced who and who was first. But don't just start making up things because you see a word in a dictionary and then you want to use logical fallacy reverse reasoning to make it up. So that's it. There's my 1 minute challenge. So my 1 minute, he said challenge. So my 1 minute challenge is where is the record of any Native American prayer pre 2400 BC talking about the word Mary, meaning in context what it means in the word Tamaray, right? Where can we find that? We can just start right there. This is one challenge. I have 20 more, but there's the one challenge. So that was it. So that's my overview.
Firebomb.
Very simple.
Yeah, we do have a couple super chats here for you.
Beautiful. And for those who saw this, also, for those who saw this, next time I'm here, I'm actually gonna launch. I'm gonna play the video of the intro to my pod class. I'm gonna play the intro. Everything's all done, and then the next week I'm gonna make it a Friday. That will actually be. I've been doing the pod classes with individual people privately, but I have been saying that I'm gonna make it public for the YouTube channel. For those of you who like the breakdown and want to know more, in the Dropbox when this video drops, my YouTube channel will be there. Next week I'm gonna launch the intro, and then right after that Friday we're gonna do the classes. Peace and blessings, everybody, and I hope you enjoyed it. And let's take a look at the super chats.
All right. Super chat. Latest one was AB. He says,
Joe Button.
put an Aboriginal power truth
that was
seeker
weak.
and A1 to drop the real Aboriginal knowledge.
What happened?
Okay.
Read that again, but I missed that.
Oh yeah, AB says put on Aboriginal power, Truth Seeker 111, and A1 to drop that real Aboriginal knowledge. Shout out to AB. Kenneth Miller says, can you debunk the ancient map with Tamarika on it? Ta'America on it.
The ancient map with. Where's the ancient map?
I don't know, the one with Tamarika on it.
There's an ancient map. AD. In the meantime, you want to.
Should I pull that up?
Yeah, pull an ancient map with Tamarika at the bottom of it.
Okay.
And I need it to be more ancient than 2,400 BC.
Ancient map Ta'America.
I would like to see a map that dates back to 2000 BC. Let's see this. Any map from anywhere. Let me see this.
Okay. It's like, did you mean ancient map Ta'America? Maybe I meant that. Is that what I meant?
These look like they're from the 1800s.
I don't know what to click on.
Well, you know what? We'll leave it open for the people to bring. Maybe Kurimeo can bring the ancient map with the word America on it that predates the pyramid text. Okay. So let's move on. So we're going to...
Okay. Next one is... Hold on a second. I just lost it. Okay. David Flores says, I want my fair one with Kurimeo.
My fair one?
Yeah.
Who said that?
Dave Flores.
Oh, Flores, of course.
Flores want that heat. He wants
a fair one.
How many rounds? Yeah, he wants.
That's a fight? Oh,
Wow.
no. No, we don't
See
want
what
any
you did, bro?
fighting, man.
Yeah. Come on, I saw Dave Flores. He been in the gym too.
Doug Akbar says, explain Garvey wearing Jesuit black cross penalty for that.
Here we go.
Okay, I'm gonna let that's a Menkepra continuation from the last. You handle all Garvey stuff. I don't know what that.
Look, man. I don't care what nobody say about Garvey, man. Like, you can come bring up all kind of stuff, man. Garvey brought knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, man, to our people, man, at the most desperate time. You know what I'm saying? It was a leader for our people at a most desperate time. Like, knock it off. Show me your bloodline. Show me what your bloodline did for our people. Then you can sit here and talk. But until you show me your bloodline and what your bloodline did for our people, you got no right to say nothing.
Can't tell me nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I did see that section of the show where there was definite questioning of Marcus Garvey, and I've seen and heard Marcus Garvey being questioned before, and I'm just interested to know what is the agenda behind.
Yeah, discrediting Marcus Garvey.
Let's say Marcus Garvey did work with the Ku Klux Klan in the sense that him and the Ku Klux Klan both agreed that blacks should not be here.
Yeah.
Right? Would I work with whites that don't want me to be here? Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's I mean, but what is it? What's the agenda of talking about that? What is it? What is the end goal?
It's just,
does he have the same goal for us as Marcus Garvey?
People, you know, one thing I learned, man, especially about people that really don't do nothing but sit on the couch and complain about anything. Like, it's easy for, like I said, it's easy for you to sit here and what I would say, couch quarterback, you know what I mean? And sit here and act like, you know what I'm saying, like, oh, you got the answers and this and that, and oh, Marcus Garvey was doing this and that, and it's like I said, what was your bloodline doing? Show me some historical facts about your last name and the people that you're directly related to, and tell me what they were doing for black people back in the early 1900s, late 1800s. What were they doing?
Whenever somebody, and I'm going to get off the Marcus Garvey thing after this, but whenever somebody critiques one of the leaders, that's why you see that when I talk about any leader, I always talk about just if there's mistakes in the teaching. I don't talk about Elijah Muhammad's laundromats. Awesome. Elijah Muhammad's buses. Elijah Muhammad had school systems.
Yeah.
We've never had that again. Elijah Muhammad has done so much for black people, and I promote all of that. Do I teach and agree with what Elijah Muhammad's teachings were? No. Will I confront the teachings? Yes. Will I speak against what he was actually doing physically? No. No, I won't. I won't speak to it with somebody who's not qualified to speak on it.
Sure, indeed.
If you're not, you cannot critique what Marcus Garvey was doing physical, because we're not even talking about his teachings, what he was doing physically, unless you have another solution. Okay, now I'm going to give up Marcus Garvey. Can I join your father? Can I come to you, and will you continue the goal? Okay, Marcus Garvey was a sellout. Marcus Garvey worked with whites. Marcus Garvey had a cross. Or okay, great.
Yeah, Jesuit cross.
He had all that. Okay, now that we know all that, now do you have the same agenda that he had? And if so, let me work with you if you have a better plan.
Yeah.
Anybody who critiques anybody, I always say, give me the better plan, and I'll follow you.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, let's get to the super chats and see what's on everybody's mind.
Theodis Brown says, "Don't come without primary sources, Tehuti."
Okay, I won't. Next super chat.
Doug Akbar says, "Explain Garvey." Oh wait, we already did that one. He did it twice. Oh, yeah, it's the same thing. Outfitting Jesuit Black Cross. Check my super chat, AD. You miss it when you.
AD. Let me go back to the last one real quick.
Which one? This last.
The one that says about primary
sources.
I just want to address something, because these are actual trolls. But I do want to address the trolls. Don't come. What does it say?
Don't come without primary sources, Tehuti.
Right. Now, I don't know if this is somebody who typed that before I even began, or somebody who typed that while I was talking. So I'm not. All I'm going to say is if you saw what I just did, what I just showed, then I showed artifacts from actual museums. I showed papyruses from actually 1250 BC. These are all primaries. They're all primaries. So maybe the brother typed that before I even started. But if anybody was to see me teach prior to today, they would know that that's actually my main focus, is to come with primaries. Especially to somebody who didn't come. Did he come with anything? He had a picture of a jaguar.
Yeah,
he got a cartoon picture in the background and a cartoon picture.
So I want to see if I'm going to go through the chats and see if that same name said that's about the Kurimeo guy who just came with a cartoon.
Right.
Or if it's only me that has to come with primaries, but anybody else can come here and just start talking. Okay, go ahead.
The next one is Danny Salinas was saying to play Donnie Arcade Tehuti.
Say it to the end.
So we'll play that at the end of the show, Danny. Danny.
Donnie Arcade put out a song called Tehuti?
Yeah.
Nice.
And then the rest of them we already got. I'm going to refresh it so that we can see the latest 2 super chats that we just got. Oh, and one just came in.
Mandarin
2099. Everyone should definitely check Priest New 95 Bodega. Should Manly P. Hall get some credit for pointing out the Nile Valley origins of Greco-Roman spirituality? Curious what Tehuti thinks.
Go back to that last part.
That's
It says, should Manly P. Hall get credit for putting out Nile Valley origins of Greco-Roman? Absolutely he should. Manly P. Hall, Gerald Massey, John Anthony West, Brian Forrester, Stephen Milher. There's several Tamahus and Europeans that point out the Greco-Roman or the Nile Valley origins in Roman and Greek mythologies and history, and all of them should get props and respect, because some of our people won't believe certain things unless when they see it coming from a European, it seems more professional. And sometimes it is actually.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is actually more professional, because there are actual archaeologists that are out there that are in the field, as opposed to just some guys brothers just talk off the top of their head. Like one brother said that battery means terrain.
For real?
Yeah, and John Anthony West would never say that. So Much respect to all those Tamahus that are putting out information, because it's hitting the ears of some black youths, some people that won't listen to anybody else, and some of them get mainstream play, whereas some of the brothers that are underground will never see the light of day. Like you'll never see Ashar Kwesi on Oprah. You'll never see Muta Ashby on CNN, or you'll never see them on these top channels, but you may see some of the Europeans, and if anything that can spark the mind of somebody to wake up, much respect to all of them. That's Manly P. Hall and anybody else who promotes truth. Okay, and that was who said that? That
was Mandarin 2099.
Mandarin 2099. Peace. Great question.
See Truth says, all truth is within. All knowledge is useless if you don't look within yourself. It's by See Truth. Truth Seattle.
Peace to see. What's his name?
See Truth, yeah.
See Truth Seattle. Yes, you should absolutely always look within self and associate the knowledge you're getting with how it can correct and change you, whether physically or subconsciously. Absolutely.
True Seattle says, Cash Every Day official music video, both strands of DNA. Let's talk Revelation. If you're trying to submit a music video, stick around. We have a thing called Song Promo Segment, which you can participate.
Oh, I like this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
For the next segment, for the next show.
I like this next super chat. Are we on the super chats that are live, or are we reading the past ones?
Okay, so that was the past one. Let me refresh, and I'll bring...
It's right above. There's one green one right there.
Let's go to right here.
Right here.
Gotcha.
Check out... And, okay, if somebody has the same last name as me. So it says, check out Big Chief Legendary Top Cats, Aboriginal Power, Dane Calloway, and Kurimeo. After all that, we should still check out Kurimeo. Okay. Tehuti, have you done your genealogy to prove you come from Africa? This is an interesting question. Because it's actually a loaded question. So nowhere in this presentation, although I do, but nowhere in this presentation did I say that I came from Africa. In this presentation, I addressed what I addressed what someone else said that was incorrect and showed that it was incorrect. I never made a claim that I came from anywhere. But as far as have I done my genealogy, I'm not sure what that means. I know who my parents are. And I know how my parents got to where they got to. They went to there was a specific island, and I know how they got to that island from their parents and their parents. And it does go back to an African slave trade. That is the genealogy I did, because I know my parents and my parents' grandparents and how they tie into this island, and how this island particularly ties into Britain. And how this particular island and Britain even came to get together, because Britain has nothing to do with this island unless there is a slave trade going on. So that's what I've done. And I'm not concerned. That's another thing too. I'm not truly concerned about that topic. My topic is that all ancestors, all the Homo sapien ancestors originally come from the motherland. The interesting thing too is that I don't acknowledge, and this may sound strange, but I don't acknowledge Africa as a place other than the European gave that name to a specific land and then said, all you blacks and everybody in the world is now from what we say, now you're going to call this place Africa. I want to get back to the mind state of what did we call things. Before the Europeans came and named something, did we even separate a border of a so-called continent and call it Africa? We never did that in history. Ramesses never did that. Pharaoh Khufu never did that. None of the pharaohs ever heard of an Africa. They never acknowledged that there was a continent and this continent is united. They never acknowledged that is a European concept. So when I trace genealogy back, I trace it back to specific areas, such as Morocco has one of the oldest Homo sapien bones. The MRCA, the most recent common ancestry goes back to the southern parts of what they call Africa and the Ethiopian area. The oldest tribe on earth untouched is the Khoisan tribe of South Africa. So if that's what they mean when they say Africa, yes. But I'd rather acknowledge the specific areas and what we call it. We call the area the Itaru. That's what we call the Nile Valley area, the Itaru and Tamaray. And all of us go back to those areas, and that was never a question. I don't know where else. Here is the racist. Let me put Nakash down. Here's the racist concept that Europeans have come up with, and that is that you cut off your descendancy at the time that you want to start your family race. So let's say, for example, the people of the Philippines. People of the Philippines, if you were to see the original people of the Philippines, they would look like, they were called Negreto. They were called Negroes. They were called the Negreto, which is the same Spanish word Negro or nigger or Niger. And they were woolly-haired people that looked just like my mom and my aunties. And then over time, due to mixing and due to raping, they became light-skinned. And they changed their genetic look. But still in the area, there are still the Negreto. So what people do through racism is they say, let's start our genealogy right here. Let's forget the fact that we traveled from somewhere, we came to a place. Let's start it now here, as if life evolved in the Philippines. Mm-hmm. So if I ask somebody from the Philippines, what are you? They'll say Filipino, and I say, oh, your life evolved in. The Philippines was a barren land, and then all of a sudden the evolutionary man came out and you started in the Philippines? Or did we start somewhere and human migration showed that we started moving and landed in different areas? You don't claim the place that you landed as your new identity. That's just the place that you landed. Keep going back. It's Europeans that actually invented that concept, because they were the first ones to do that. They came out and said, we are Caucasians. And I said, oh, you're Caucasian? So your life began in the Caucasus Mountains between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea? That's where your existence began? Out of nothingness? There was just mold and mildew in that area. Then all of a sudden, blonde-haired, blue-eyed people just started springing up out of nothingness? Or did you migrate from somewhere into a colder region and then start to evolve there like everybody else does? But why is the place you migrated from not the place that you're from? That's where you migrated from. Why do you cut that off? Why would you cut that off? You can't cut that off. So the fact is that we're all from these areas, and we started migrating outwards. And that's why when they trace the most recent common ancestor, it goes back to the so-called Ethiopian area, South African area, and the Moroccan area goes back to those areas. So I don't want to discount that. You don't cut off your history. If a Native American says that, well, I can trace my ancestry back to a migration from Siberia, right? And if you look at an Eskimo and look at a Chinese man, they look the same. And you say, okay, so what are you? Oh, I'm an Eskimo. Didn't you just tell me you migrated from Siberia? Why did you just cut off your Siberian roots? What happened to Siberia? No, I'm an Eskimo now. What happened? Why'd you cut it off? Why aren't you still a Siberian? Well, a German Shepherd that I have in my house here in California is still a German Shepherd and is born in California. But it's called a German Shepherd, though. It doesn't give up his ancestry, but so people are picking and choosing what they want the race to be. When I walk up to a Mexican and I say, what are you? And they say Mexican. I say, did your life begin here in Mexico? Did life start in Mexico? Did the oldest bones found on the planet just begin in Mexico, or did you migrate here? Everybody migrated, and you can trace through the mitochondria DNA, which I can show a video, and I can show that we go back to what they call mitochondrial Eve. You can trace it right back to what they call the motherland. But racist Europeans came, and they wanted to cut off their connection, so they came up with new. Do you know that majority of the titles of races that people have were invented by Europeans?
Wow.
Yeah.
So when somebody says I'm Latino, I say, okay, go ahead and speak Latin for me. Go ahead and speak Latin. Latin existed at the same time as Rome. Go ahead and speak Latin.
Buenas noches.
Right, and they go right back to Spain. Right? Yeah. So when people people are the titles. They say I'm Trinidadian. I'm this and I'm that. And I'm like, oh, Trinidadian came from the fact that conquistadors came over to that island and they wanted to enforce the Trinity. So they started calling these areas based on belief system. I'm El Salvadorian. Oh, El Salvadorian is El and Savior. That's Jesus. That's not your race. That's not where you came from. That is conquistadors. So most of the titles that we name ourselves are names that Europeans gave us. The Chinese are yellow people. The Indians are red. Wherever in ancient Chinese culture did they call themselves yellow? Never. But so all these race names, black, white, red, yellow, El Salvador, all these words, these are like Spanish terminologies, and we didn't decipher ourselves by those terminologies. An Aztec never said that he was Spanish. Yeah. So yes, we all trace our ancestry. We can all trace our ancestry back. Most of us to the motherland. I can trace mine back. And the people that are there, I don't even get into that conversation. You know, the brother Ngodi's awesome. I love him, but I never get into the E1, B1, 31, A1. Right. I don't get into it. I look at an ancient African person, as they call it, a person from that area, and I see her. I see Menkepera. They still look like you. Yeah. And some of these tribes were never touched in the Congo. They were never raped yet. And they still look like you. And as far as the light skin, they still look like there's the people in the sand look like Will Smith. They never change and they never mix, and they were light skinned then, and they're light skinned because we come in all different ranges. So when I look at that person, I say, oh, that's a person of that descent. I look like him. That's me. Yeah. That's me. That's fine. And if you don't look like him, then you mutated. You mutated somewhere along the line, but that's all right. All creatures genetically mutate and change due to climate change or due to food habits, and people mutate. But that's not even what I'm here to talk about. I just wanted to issue that 1 minute challenge to Kurimeo and see if he can come on and see if he can see if he can meet that challenge. If he doesn't meet that challenge, then I would have to say openly right here that he's a fraud. Because he said, I played the video, he said, challenge, just take 1 minute of my video, challenge. Okay, that I did now. But these are great questions. Keep the super chats in, keep the questions in, and then get to some.
All right, next one we got.
See, the main thing is like, the thing that he's trying to prove is like the slave trade never happened.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, we was a lot of them, you know what I'm saying? It's just Dan Calloway, Kulo. They all say that the slave trade never happened and that we was already just over here. And that they came over here and tricked us into thinking that we came from over there. And I'm like, what's the benefit of that? What's the agenda behind that?
That's the reason why that's a horrible claim is because slave trade represents a singularity. Mm-hmm. The Germans did it. Yeah. The British did it. The Spanish did it. The English did it. It wasn't a slave trade singular. Mm-hmm. It was several Europeans at the same time taking people not just to America, taking people to Jamaica, to Trinidad. This is Haiti. This is a worldwide event. Yeah. So if somebody's going to try to come and disprove the world, people think the slave trade is just an American thing. Yeah. No. All types of cultures were involved around the same time doing it. Mm-hmm. But that's too. A lot of people say things for shock value. Yeah.
That's all it really is.
Yeah, YouTube views and shock value.
I think it's just an effort to be different.
Yes.
I'm over here, you niggas over there. Yeah, I don't really like you African niggas anyway, because that's how a lot of black Americans, so-called, that's how they feel. They don't really like Africans, so, they just come up with anything to separate themselves from their history, because, to be honest with you, a lot of them are ashamed of it.
Well, of course.
A lot of you niggas that's claiming to be, we was already over here, a lot of you are ashamed of your African ancestry. That's why you want to separate yourself, because you ashamed. Facts.
Yeah, and self-hating shame was the first trick to even put us in slavery, because they couldn't physically capture us. You have to do something to your brain. Yeah. That's why my daughter is in is in Ghana, and the Jesus over there is paler and bluer eyed than the one over here.
Yeah.
She says the self-hate over there because they did it mentally to us over there first, and in order to even bring us, because they couldn't just imagine Europeans just going to a strong African tribe and trying to take over. No, you have to do something mentally to them. But that conversation is so that's just for shock value. I don't think there's anybody who. That man said the slave trade didn't happen. I got to hear somebody say
like we
that.
was already over here.
I got to see that sentence.
We was already over here, and da 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 da.
That's trolling. That's some things are not even entertainable. It's a lot of trolling.
You know, the Mississippi was the Nile.
The Mississippi was the Nile.
You know.
Wow.
Like, knock it off.
And another thing too.
And that's why they got Memphis right there, because in Tennessee they named Memphis right there because that's where the real Nile was.
Like,
but we didn't name it Memphis.
Yeah, like not
so it's just it's sad though. It's all a lot of distraction from getting. If you're a Native American, you want to get back to your true roots. All applaud. If you're from China and you want to get back to Chinese roots, all applaud. And then when everybody's all done that, everybody can get back to the motherland roots because that was there before there was a China, before there was any Native American. Where's the Native American writings that date back 2,400 BC? Actual sentences that describe a lifestyle, that describe a culture. Not a bone of somebody, not a finger, because they got bones in Idaho going back millions of years, but not a bone, not a thumb, not a finger. Writing that describe a culture that go back 2,400 BC.
Yeah.
You know, so, but anyways, I look forward to talking to whoever entertains that so I can keep the children educating those who don't know. Any more super chats?
Yeah, just a few more. Kenneth Miller says our ancestors say we come from the Nani Wailia, which is Louisville.
And stop making up stuff.
hold on. Let's
sit your. Okay, let me go ahead. Stop making up shit, man. Like, come on, man.
Wait a minute. Could you read that again? I'm gonna.
It says our ancestors say we come from Nani.
Who are these ancestors?
Wait,
like, give us the source first before you just start throwing doodle at the wall. Who's our ancestors? Who's the ancestors? Can you show us the paper where they said that at?
Right.
Stop coming on and just making up stuff, man.
So, what our ancestors say? We're from Nunu.
Yeah, from Nani Wailia, which is in Louisville,
Louisville, Kentucky. Louisville in America.
He says Louisville, MS.
Mississippi.
Our ancestors say we came from Mississippi.
Okay.
And and let's just address it with just some logic. It could be true.
Yeah.
It could be true. Because if you have a great-great-grandmother that came from Mississippi, she could say, we came from Mississippi.
My ancestors said we come from Pensacola, Florida.
Right.
And they did,
right.
but that wasn't...
How far...
Yeah, that was
right. How far
60 years ago.
How far back of ancestors are we talking about? Are we talking about ancestors in the time of Ptah-hotep? Ancestors like slave ancestors? So it could be true. Whoever his great-grandmother could have been a slave in Louisville. Okay.
We got another one here from Doug Akbar. He says Garvey worked with CDC, same ones injecting syphilis.
Hey, yo,
That's
man,
what my point is. My fam was not doing that.
Garvey worked with the CDC.
What year is the CDC? What year was the CDC?
Shit, man.
What year was the CDC?
The Central for Disease Control.
Yeah, what year
Garvey was working with the Central Center for Disease.
The same
Center Disease Control. Like, come on, man. What y'all ain't got nothing to do at the house or something? Y'all need to go get y'all a Game Boy, yo, and just sit in the corner and play with it.
Oh my God.
Next one is by a PNF Information History Channel. He says Kurimeo been exposed as fraud. All Aboriginal and Indian channels are against Moors and Africans and are liars. That is from PNF Information History Channel.
Repeat, say that again.
He says Kurimeo been exposed as fraud. All Aboriginal and Indian channels are against Moors and Africans and are liars.
Can you say that one more time? Just for the record.
Okay, this is just for the record. Kurimeo been exposed as fraud. All Aboriginal and Indian channels are against Moors and Africans and are liars.
Put that joint, tell you see the 7 on the head, nigga.
See the 7 on the hat, nigga.
See it, man.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Time to clean house, nigga.
Time to clean house, nigga. Time to clean house.
He's getting more play here on the radio.
Okay, I think that's all the super chats up to now. Oh, wait.
More.
Some new ones popped up in here, my bad. Google Drake the slave trader. Drake was one of the biggest slave traders ever. That's by Kemet Huru Hancock. Comedic Matter says, Tehuti, I want to hear your analysis on the Mesoamerica elongated skulls. Brian Forrester mentions found all over Peru and Mexico private museums.
These are super chats?
This is a super chat from Comedic Matter. Okay. So for $5, you've got less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, hold on, let me get my bearings.
Donkey says Hopi tribe has legends of their ancestors coming from inner earth.
Okay. And read that last super chat one more time, AD, please, for me. The one about the skulls.
He wants to hear your analysis on the Mesoamerica elongated skulls. Brian Forrester mentions found all over Peru and Mexico private museums.
Okay. Okay. Very good question. So, what Brian Forrester found was a group of skulls that they started calling the Paracas, the Paracas skulls. And I'll do a little screen share here. Let me see if I can... Am I out of the StreamYard, AD?
You're in over here.
Huh.
I'm not sure if you're here though.
Okay, one moment, people. Add to stream. Stop cam. Mute.
Yep.
Am I in? Thanks.
Go on.
Okay.
See? Oh, yeah. That was very natural.
Okay, here we go. Screen share. Screen share. Go to my files. Okay, so here are some of the example of the skulls found and the comparable skulls. I could do a whole show on this, but I'll just break down a couple of things. One of the things is that the Paracas skulls that were found in South America were different from head morphing. As you can see an image of a skull. That's a person's skull that's head morphed, and it's head morphed to imitate something that they saw. So a lot of our ancient ancestors, what we do, or what we always have done, is you always want to imitate the beings that you feel are higher than you, or that are your teachers, or that are your gods, and you do things to imitate or what they look like. Some of the beings that came down here, whose skulls they found, the spinal cord is not connected like ours is connected. It's connected a little further back, and it's not human. It's not a human skull they found. They found these creatures called the Paracas, and here's an example of a non-human one where I'm waving my mouse, where you'd see the neck would connect, the spine would connect right around way back here, which is not where it would connect to on a human. And you can see that some of our ancestors actually morphed our heads to imitate this, and some of the family, all of the family of the immediate family of Akhenaten family, head shape was like this, and they're still trying to figure out. They did. I can get into this next time, but they did do DNA tests on Akhenaten and found that his morphology, his DNA did not match, did not sequence exactly with human DNA, and the family, his bloodline family, their skeletal structure, like I showed in earlier podcasts, the hand and fingers were as long as the whole femur of Tutankhamun's children, and they did not look, they did not match human morphology either. But Brian Forrester has done some great work in finding out that there are skulls that are much larger. Here's the pre-Incan, as they call them, pre-Incan Paracas, and if you look at that skull, you definitely know that is not head morphing. Where the spine would connect is nowhere near where a person's skull would connect. And there have been archaeological finds of skulls this size and bigger that have actually been documented in archaeology, and these skulls were called the Boskop man, which existed anywhere from 5,000 BC to 126,000 BC. And I showed images of that, and I'll show. Here it is, types of man, and here is that's one of Tutankhamun's children, right there. But we're not going to get into that right now. We're going to go into the Boskop man. So they actually did find archaeological bones. In early 1910s, two farmers stumbled across bits of fossilized skulls near Boskop, where? South Africa again. So here we are in South Africa. So a lot of our people talk about how the original man came from South Africa, and sometimes we argue about where the people come from. But most of the times you never really hear anybody arguing about what are these skulls found in South Africa that actually don't look like a person at all. These are old skulls that are found, Boskop Man 2 over here. While typical modern person's brain is around 1,400 cubic centimeters, the brain size of this skull was estimated to be about 1,980 cubic centimeters, much larger than a regular person's, human's brain. And when they restructured it, so this is what it would look like. Other specimens from South Africa were added to the species, which was called Homo capensis, also known as the Boskop man. So a lot of people don't talk, actually I never heard anybody really talk about the Boskop man, or looks like an ancient man with the head the size of two heads, or looks like two heads in there, even more. So if you were to see this walk up to you, it's also very short. If you were to see this walk up to you, you would run from it. You wouldn't consider this a human being or a Homo sapien. But these are archaeological bones. This is out of Big Brain, Origins of Future Human Intelligence. Concludes that the head of the Boskop man was 30% larger than ours, which indicates a large forebrain and possibly a higher IQ. And reconstructed, the Boskop man would look like this. Some scientists became convinced that Southern Africa was once the home to a mysterious race of big-brained, small-faced people. Right? These are actual bones that have been found that that look like that. So here is the Boskop man, dates back to the late Pleistocene time, which goes back. The beginning stage defined as the Eemian interglacial phase before the final glacial episode, Pleistocene, from 126,000 to 5,000 years ago, and it ended during the Younger Dryas period. Younger Dryas, of course, 11,700 years ago. the time when there was huge cataclysms that hit the planet Earth, where the Earth a lot of creatures were destroyed. They even have something here called the tar pits, where you can go there and see the La Brea, the tar pits, where you can see the woolly hair, the mammoth and the saber-toothed tiger, and creatures that were wiped out because of the Younger Dryas. And some of these creatures were wiped out, but they found their bones in South Africa, and they are large-brained, large-headed creatures. So Brian Forrester is doing work researching these large cranial, large-brained, or large-skulled creatures. They found them in pre-Inca, in the Incan area. They found them in the time of Akhenaten with his family. And and archaeologists have also found these large-skulled humanid type creatures dating back to 126,000 to 5,000 years ago. So these are real things that should be investigated. So very good question. I hope I did a short, brief breakdown on that. There's much more, but we're gonna keep time short. And peace. Who was asked that? Hero Hancock? Who?
That was by Kemetic Matter. Wait a minute. Oh, we got new ones here.
Kemetic.
Yeah, that was Kemetic Matter. That's right.
Kemetic Matter. Okay, peace. Kemetic Matter. If you want more on that, you can contact me. But that's what I have to say about that for now. Research Brian Forrester. He does a lot of good work. He's actually one of the European guys that I named when somebody asked me about the Manly P. Hall. I think I did say Brian Forrester. So he goes over there, finds the skulls, researches them, and they do DNA testing on them and everything. Very good work. There's a lot of creatures on this planet that are not what we call animals, and they're not what we call humans. There's all types of creatures on this planet that we should investigate, that our ancestors spoke about, and that still have their bones here today. All right, peace and love.
All right, Theodis Brown says, it's not economically sound to keep going back and forth across the water with harsh conditions. I want to see the slave ships. I haven't seen one.
That's just like the stupidest shit I just be hearing.
What was that? I'm sorry, what? Some economically sound to...
That's an argument that they use all the time, that it's not economically sound for them to keep using slave ships going across the Atlantic. And I mean, these people are business people. Why would they do business like that?
That's called argumentum ignorantum. This is argumentum ignorantum is arguing. It's a debate tactic where you argue from the viewpoint of ignorance. You're not actually stating or bringing anything to the table. You're arguing from, why would Killah Priest wear an orange shirt if his favorite color is red? Why does his sister have her hair in a puff when she's pulling this one out? Huh? Why do you got dreads if he didn't? Like it's arguing from an ignorant standpoint as opposed to bringing actual evidence to the table that we can analyze. It may not have been economically sound for you living in 2021 who has not the slightest clue of how economics was working in 1427.
Facts.
Have no idea how many billions and billions and billions of dollars slaves made for America.
Man.
It was extremely, if they lost millions on the slave ship, they made billions on free railroads.
Yeah,
free city.
Here go the stupidest thing. Somebody said, "Where's the ships?" and it's just these people came over here in ships. How did the Europeans get over here?
Yeah,
they got over here in ships.
Well, we don't.
The British trade, the Portugals trading, the Portuguese trade, the French trade. They all was maritime people. They ran across the Mediterranean and the Atlantic Sea.
This is
and they talking about, where's the ships at? Like, that's just the dumbest shit I've heard.
And I can honestly say, where's whatever ship, I don't know.
Still do, yeah, still do. Still running around in ships.
I don't know where huh? Oh, I don't know where the ships are that Europeans came here in. Now let's analyze this. Europeans did come here.
Yeah,
right.
They did migrate over here. Right? Even if we say they had slaves or not.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Native Americans have accounts of Europeans did something to the Native Americans.
Facts.
whether they came in slave ships or not. Where is the slave ship that they came on? I don't know. I do know that they came over here.
Yeah.
I don't know where the particular ship is, but that's not stating any fact.
None at all.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. So, if you guys are going to bring knowledge to the table, we're all open to it. But don't do argumentum ignorantum, which is just on the viewpoint of ignorance. You're not actually stating something. You're stating what you don't know.
Somebody said Europeans came on Kurimeo.
Yeah. Did Europeans did Europeans come here? For the person that asked the question, did Europeans come here? What is the reason why Mexicans speak Spanish? Isn't it because they came in contact with people from Spain?
Yeah, on ships.
How did the people from Spain can come here? The only way you can get from Spain to here is swimming, helicopter, or ships. Helicopters didn't exist back then, neither did planes, and they didn't swim. So they came here on ships, right? Do you believe that? And if you do, where are the ships? You can ask the next person, where are the ships?
Yeah, where are the ships that came over here and conquered the...
Well, I don't know where they are. Where'd they do? I don't know. Let's look for them.
That's just like the dumbest...
But what is that? Does that mean now that they didn't come here on ships?
Man.
How did they get here?
Stupid shit, man.
Yeah, it's troll. They're trolling.
Yeah.
It's trolling.
It's just like saying, next thing they go say is that the Boston, you know what I'm saying, Tea Party didn't happen, as far as like, you know, them overthrowing the British to get rid of the tea tax or whatever. How they get the tea over here?
And I have no problem. You know, I love all history being questioned.
Yeah.
I mean, this to us, this sounds as crazy as to a Christian when I say to them, Jesus didn't exist.
Yeah.
It throws you off. He's like, oh, no way, we just said Jesus. But then when you analyze the facts, you see that it was a stolen story. But people are taking it too far now. Now they just want to shock and now
that's all it is.
It's just a shock value.
Yeah,
so
you know,
if you believe Europeans came here, then please tell us how did they get here? Did they get here in ships? If they got here in ships, then where are the ships? You have the same answer as me. Next question.
That's it.
Hey, you got instrumental Janet Jackson Control. There's a lot of trolls on it.
Man, control.
Yeah, troll.
Man,
Controls.
Yeah, control. Yeah.
Somebody said, "Show me a pic of a slave ship." Man, get out of here. You think it's just really what it is that, you know, people always want to pick a side. I'm over here with the new knowledge, so since I'm with the new knowledge, I'm smart. There's no slave ships.
And think of this, priest. Everybody think of this. Think of this. If the slave trades didn't happen, then that means that all the world was in on it. It wasn't just one group of people that did slave trades. Germany did it. Portugal did it. France was doing it. London, everybody was doing it throughout hundreds of years. So that means they had hundreds of years conspiracy, and they all worked together. The Germans, countries that don't even get along, all got together and worked together. But they did do that with the flat Earth, though, right, AD?
Here we go. Say it again.
I will, KD. The concept. I'm gonna ask this question because the concept of the flat Earth is that all the countries actually are working together on the conspiracy to hide. They all agree to hide the flat Earth.
The high end of the Illuminati, the higher ups,
the higher tops.
Yeah, like above the shadow groups.
So all the governments,
the G20s,
all the governments, Japan, India,
like the UN. If you look at the flag for the UN, the symbol, it's a flat Earth map.
So they
right in your face,
right? So that's the concept. That's the similar thinking that it's actually similar thinking, but it's the slavery thing's even worse because slavery was hundreds and hundreds of years. That would mean there would be a worldwide Earth conspiracy even before there was a UN.
Yeah. Fact.
Countries that don't even get along. I could even understand AD saying, okay, there's a UN that do have meetings and they get along.
Yeah.
But this is going back to 1300s. All the countries got together and said, let's create a slave trick.
Yeah.
And we're all going to keep this. Germany, you're in on it. Jews, you're in on it. America, you're on it. Hey, Portugal, nobody had telephones either.
Yeah.
they all got to communicate this conspiracy, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Portugal, we're going to send the bird with the little letter. Portugal, you're in on it. Russia, you're in on it. Let's all to get together and create a fake slave trade for 600 years.
Yeah. So we
And the Africans have to be on it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because African ancestors say we came over.
Yeah.
So they have to
the whole whole slave coast and island and everything.
They have to
like,
be.
come on.
They have to be in on. Even the victims were in on it.
Yeah.
So it's a distraction. I would actually rather entertain the flat Earth conversation.
It's so-called smart niggas
I'd rather
that believe that.
That's the ultimate conspiracy. That I would like to see a flat earther and an anti-slaver debate. Which one is the biggest world conspiracy?
Facts.
The slavery had to be way bigger because even the slaves were in on it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the flat Earth's easy because you just show a bunch of CGI and everyone's convinced.
Way easier than than tricking 600 years all across the world. Trinidad was in on it.
Yep. Haiti was in.
Haiti was in on it. All the revolts were faked.
Yeah, all the revolts.
All the revolts were false flags.
Yep.
Anyways, that's a distraction, and it's a distraction. It's silliness. It's all arguments and ignorance. Anybody who has a real debate point will actually bring facts to the table. I want to debunk it from the root of it. The root of it is that we were in America as Tamarika Armor. Once you debunk that, then the rest of it goes out the window. Because if we were never in, if Tamaray was never here, then the whole foundation of us being here and going over there is gone. So that's everything else. I like to address people from their roots. I want to destroy your roots, and then I don't want to hear the branch stories.
Yeah.
Let me destroy your roots. If I can debunk a Hebrew Israelite that the Egyptians never had slaves in ancient Egypt, once that's debunked, I don't want to hear about John the Baptist and Ezekiel.
Yeah.
None of that even is important anymore if we've debunked the main core of all salvation, which is they were in Egypt, we got out, we had a Passover. If you debunk that, I don't want to hear about anything else. So I like just debunking the roots and getting it over with. I don't want to get into where are the ships.
Yeah, where are the ships?
Marcus Garvey had a cross on his neck. Next up.
That's it.
All right.
Yeah, man. So we're going to move on to the music?
I need a few more minutes. I'm still collecting them.
You finished with this guy, or you want to
he's
really go in?
No, I don't know, because I just wanted to do his 1 minute challenge.
Do it, yes.
And
call in
1 minute challenge, and if there's a challenge. So now either he's going to receive the challenge or he's going to put an animal on my head and put me on the next video.